All right. So we're talking about elections. Let's get into voting rights. Ron DeSantis's new election police unit started charging people last summer with voter fraud as part of a crackdown against felons who have allegedly broken the law by casting a ballot. However, one by one, many of the 20 arrests over the past 12 months have stumbled in court, with 6 cases being dismissed, 5 others accepted plea deals, and only 1 case went to trial and resulted in a split verdict. In the first 9 months, only 4 arrests were made. Critics say the low numbers point to the overall strength of Florida's electoral system and a lack of sufficient evidence to pursue further charges. But that doesn't seem to matter to Ron DeSantis and his culture war and this fraud unit's $3 million budget. Good job, Florida. Good job, Florida. Way to waste their time.
$3 million to create a task force for
20 people
that
for
doesn't
20
actually
people
happen.
For 20 people in a year. And you didn't even get to prosecute them all because it's all nonsense.
Oh my goodness. And the worst part about
fraud.
that kind of
20 people didn't tip any election. What
God,
are
no.
you guys doing?
God, no. But my point is the worst part about when you enact here's our issue. This is a bigger issue in terms of policing in America in general. If you spend money on it, you could always fall back on, well, the reason there's only 20 is because the show of force. There's only 20 because we've got a force out there making sure that people who are trying to do this aren't doing it. And there's
the first time. You would think that the first time people didn't know about the show of force, so you would have got a bunch of them.
You're bringing way too much logic. You're bringing way too much logic into this fight. This fight is about illogic. And in that illogic, this is where you get to win, is you get to say, because we have this, we don't have to deal with it. And therefore, next year, we should triple this budget and get even more people out there. So that way, those 20 people you won't have one case if we spend $33 million. That's the logic on this one.
Listen, anyway. It's Floridian logic. I get it. It makes sense.
To be fair, this is not an area where Florida is the only, what do you call it? The only guilty party. That's what I'm saying. Other states do this similar.
Florida has all of this other stuff going on.
When you put it all together, they're special. But I'm just saying that in this particular area, they aren't alone. This is something that a lot of states like to engage in. But anyway, moving on.
I mean, not really with the fraud stuff, not with the voter fraud.
There's not with the voter fraud, no. But in terms of appointing either policies or not policies, but departments or giving the police more money. Like again, we talk about this, the military surplus. No reason for police forces to have tanks. Not going to do much with it. But you get to argue because they have tanks, we have less terrorism. The terrorists are afraid of the police force in the middle of the country in a population of 300 people having tanks. That's
but you also are, I mean, you do have these other socioeconomic factors, trauma, undereducated, where people are actually committing crimes, but we don't really care about, the crime. The behavior is like the capstone of a long precedent of unfortunate things that have happened to them that have brought them there. But in fact, a law was broken and we have zero empathy for them. Right. And so you do have high incarceration rates.
Yes.
There's only 20 people.
I hear you.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, no one's even breaking the law. Like you, you can't even incarcerate them. There's not enough people to justify $3 million. It's just they're out of their minds. It's just absurd. And if it was anyone else doing anything, everyone would just be like, scrap it. But because he's dictator in chief down there, he gets to do whatever he wants and use the Floridians' tax dollars as petty cash.
Wow, well said. I like that.
So